everyone! I'm Karen and welcome back to my channel, the Dabawenyo Wife in America! Kumusta mo tanan sa mga naa sa Pilipinas karon o sa atong mga kababayan na naa diri sa America and other parts of the globe? I hope all of you are fine, and of course my international subscribers who are constantly waiting for my update regarding my petition for my mom and dad. Guys, in the previous video that I'm gonna do I-130 video on how I filled it out, and many of you of course know that I did it online in USCIS.GOV, and I have here a copy in my hands. This is the printout of my I-130 form that I did in USCIS website, and the other one, this is my printout as well that I did, the form that I did in N400. So stay tuned to that. So today I will run through to you how I fill out the I-130, but the N400 I'm gonna do it next video after of course after I upload the this video. So let's go to the laptop. I am here now at the laptop, and let's go sign in USCIS.gov. USCIS.gov. Then you go here, sign in. Then your password. Click sign in. After you sign into your USCIS account, you will be directed in your home page. Here, you will see all the cases that you submitted online below. Since I will be showing you today how I fill out the I-130 application form, I'm gonna show you where you will be able to see it after you submitted your form online. In my previous videos, that before and after you submitted your I-130 online, even in N400, you will get a chance to see your form before you submit it, to see any corrections. And at the same time, after you submitted it, you will also have your application form online in your account. As you can see here that the case is already closed, obviously because the I-130 petition for alien relative application form was already approved. Now on this side, you will see the PDF file of your application form I-130 that you did before. I will also run through to you how I fill it out. Let's click this view PDF. Open the file. Now let's go here and type USCIS.gov forms. Click the forms. Let's scroll down. Click all forms. Now scroll down again and look for I-130. I-130 here. Petition for alien relative. Let's click this. Scroll down. You will see here forms and document downloads. Let's click this. Here you will see the form of the I-130. Of course, since we are here in USCIS.gov website, they will always have the latest edition. So if you have some questions that where could I get the latest edition, is this form that I'm about to fill out is the latest edition, the answer is you should always go back to USCIS.gov and go to the forms. Let's see what is the latest right now at this moment. This is the I-130 form, petition for alien relative. I'm using this form to petition my mom and dad. So in this portion, you don't need to write anything. Start here, type or print in black ink. If you need extra space to complete any section of this petition, use the space provided in Part 9, Additional Information. Complete and submit as many copies of Part 9 as necessary with your petition. Part 1. Relationship. You are the petitioner. I am the petitioner. Number 1. I am filing this petition for my spouse, brother, sister, child. So I'm petitioning my parent. I'll click this parent. If you petition your spouse or your brother, then just click whichever is applied to you. Number 2, if you are filing this petition for your child or parent, select the box that describes your relationship. Child was born to parents who were married to each other at the time of the child's birth. That's the one that I should click because my mom and dad are already married when I was born. Stepchild, stepparent, no. Child was born to parents who were not married to each other at the time of the child's birth. Child was adopted, no. I'll click this one. Child was born to parents who were married to each other at the time of the child's birth. So here, whichever is applied to you. 3. If the beneficiary is your brother or sister, you are related by adoption, no. 4. Did you gain lawful permanent resident or citizenship through adoption? No. Part 2. Information about you, me, the petitioner. Number 1, alien registration number or your A number. Like I said before, you will find your A number in your notices, and as well as if you make your USCIS account, you'll also find your A number there. As well as the USCIS online account number, you will also find this one in your USCIS online account when you sign in. Number 3, US Social Security number, your full name. 4A, family name, Shelton. 4B, given name or first name, Karen. 4C, middle name, Jairus. So make sure you don't interchange your names because here they're asking first the last name. Part 2, information about you is still with the petitioner information. Other names used, if any. Provide all other names you have ever used, including aliases, maiden name, and nickname. So in the Philippines, we write our name in a different way compared here in the US because, for example, me, I have 2 names. So in the Philippines, we write our first name, 2 names in the first name. For example, my name when I was still single is Karen Jairus. So that's what I wrote in my first name, Karen Jairus. And then the middle name or the maiden name is the surname or the last name of my mom when she was still not married. So her last name when she was still single was Oronan. So Oronan I put in my middle name. As you can see here, Oronan. And also as you can see on this 5B is my first name, Karen Jairus. Here in 5A is the last name when I was still not married. Since my name when I was still single is different from my name now that I am married, that means I have to write it here. I have no idea how you write your name in your birth country back home. This is a very good example if you are a Filipino or you are born in the Philippines. This is how we write our name. As you can see here, my name is different. This is how I write my name here in the US. First name, Karen, my middle name is Jairus, and then the last name is Shelton. But when I was still in the Philippines, I write my name like this. Other information, number 6, city, town, village of birth, Davao City. 7, country of birth, Philippines. Number 8, date of birth. Make sure you don't interchange the month and the day. Number 9, sex, female. 10A, mailing address in care of name. So here, since I'm already here in the US and this address pertains to the address of the petitioner, so we have only one address here in the US. Just simply, I'm writing my address, complete address. 10B, whatever your address is, are you living in apartment or suite or floor? And then 10D, type your city or town. 10E, state, North Carolina, zip code. 10G, we don't have province, we don't use this postal code. 10I, country, United States. Number 11, is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? Yes, because we only have one residence. I click yes. If you answered no to item number 11 here, if you answered no here, provide information on your physical address and items numbers 12A to 13B. So that means here, if you have a different address, like if you have two houses here in the US, then you can also write the other address. Address history. Provide your physical address for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your current address first if it is different from your mailing address. That means you have to write first here in physical address 1, your current address, where you live right now. You have to put the street number, apartment, suite, floor, city or town, state, zip code, country, the date from and the date to. Make sure you don't interchange here the month and the day. And if mailing address is different from your current address, you have to write your mailing address next here in physical address number 2. If ever you also live in different addresses for the last 5 years, then you have to include everything. You don't interchange the date from and the date to. Now proceed to your marital information. 16, how many times have you been married? I put 1. 17, current marital status. So whichever is applied to you. I am married. I click married. Part 2, information about you, the petitioner. Continued. Number 18, date of current marriage, if currently married. Since I am married, of course, I put our marriage date here. Place of your current marriage. We got married in Brandon, Mississippi. So I put the city in 19A, state in 19B, 19C, province, 19D, country, United States. Name of all your spouses. That means if you've been married 2 times, 3 times, you have to write all your current spouse and your previous spouses together with their last name, first name, middle name. At the same time, if you have been annulled or divorced, you have to write as well the date marriage ended, and make sure you don't interchange the month and the day. Spouse 2 here, if you have any, and if you need an extra space, you have spouse 3, then you have to go to part 9 for the extra sheet. Use that sheet to provide your additional information. Information about your parents. So since I'm petitioning my mom and my dad, so I will be starting to put their personal details here. Parents 1 information, full name of parent 1. I'm writing first the name of my dad. Last name, his first name, his middle name, his date of birth, his sex, of course, male, country of birth, Philippines, city, town, village of residence, country of residence, Philippines. Now for my parent number 2 information, this is my mom. Now 30A, family name, last name, 30B, first name of your mom, 30C, middle name of your mom, 31, birth date of my mom, 32, sex, of course, female, 33, country of birth, 34, city, town, village of residence, 35, country of residence. Additional information about you. This means the petitioner, not the intending immigrant, guys. It's been asking about the petitioner. 36, I am a US citizen. If you are LPR, then click LPR. If you're a US citizen, complete item number 37. So I will complete this one. My citizenship was acquired through whichever is applied. Birth in US, naturalization, parents, mine is naturalization. 38. Have you obtained a certificate of naturalization or a certificate of citizenship? Yes. If you answered yes to item number 38, complete the following. Now you need to get your naturalization certificate because you need to input your certificate numbers, the place where it is issued, the date it is issued. Make sure you don't interchange the date of issuance. Part 2, information about you, the petitioner. If you are LPR, complete item numbers 40A to 41. So since I am a US citizen, I'm not answering this portion because this is only for the LPRs. Employment history. Provide your employment history for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the US. Provide your current employment first. If you are currently unemployed, type or print unemployed in item number 42. Here, employer 1, for the last 5 years, I am not working. So I put here unemployed. I am a full-time mom. Here in 45A, you have to write the day from when you become unemployed. Here, until I applied for my mom and dad, I am still unemployed. So I put the day when I applied for my I-130 for my mom and dad. Employer 2, if you are, you have to type the rest of the employers that you have been working for the last 5 years. Part 3, biographic information. Note, provide the biographic information about you, the petitioner. So this is about the petitioner. Again, just like in N400, they're asking you this. Your ethnicity, I click not Hispanic or Latino. Your race, I am Asian. So just click whichever is applied to you. My height, make sure you put the feet and the inches. And the weight, they are asking for the pounds. So don't put kilos here, guys. They're asking for the pounds. And here, they're asking for inches and feet. So don't put the centimeter. 5, eye color. So whichever is applied to you, mine is brown. Part 3, biographic information continued. Number 6, hair color. So whichever is applied again to you, mine is black. Part 4, information about the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the intending immigrant or the person that you are petitioning to come over here in the US. Number 1, write if that person has any A number my mom and dad don't have. Number 2, USCIS online account, they also don't have. Number 3, US Social Security, they also don't have. Beneficiary's full name. Like I said in the past, that if you are petitioning your mom and your dad, you will be filing one for your mom of this I-130 form and one for your dad. Here it is asking for the beneficiary's full name. So this form that I'm showing you right now is for my dad. So here in 4A, I'll write the last name of my dad. 4B, his first name. 4C, his middle name. Other names used, if any. Provide all other names the beneficiaries ever used, including aliases, maiden name, and nicknames. The previous name or the other's name used by the intending immigrant or the beneficiary. Just make sure that the last name, the first name, and the middle name is correct. Other information about the beneficiary: number 6, town, village of birth; 7, country of birth, Philippines; 8 is the date of birth of the beneficiary; 9, of course, this is my dad, so I put male. Number 10, has anyone else ever filed a petition for the beneficiary? No. It is because this is the first time that I applied for my dad and my mom, and nobody else applied for them before. Note: select unknown only if you do not know and the beneficiary also does not know if anyone else has ever filed a petition for the beneficiary. So if you are not sure if somebody did petition them before, just click unknown. Beneficiary's physical address. If the beneficiary lives outside the United States in a home without a street number or name, leave item numbers 11A and 11B blank. My mom and dad are living in the Philippines right now in Davao City, so I will write the address in Davao City here. Other address and contact information. Provide the address in the United States where the beneficiary intends to live, if different from item numbers 11A to 11H. In 11A to 11H, in my case, I put the address in Davao City, Philippines, where my mom and dad lives right now. However, it says here, put the address where the beneficiary intends to live. Whichever address applied to you, just write the address where the beneficiary intends to live once they're already here in the US. Here also, it is asking the daytime telephone number if there's any. Part 4, information about the beneficiary. Still with the beneficiary, not the petitioner. Mobile telephone number of the beneficiary. Here I put the cell number of my dad in the Philippines. 16, also the email address of my dad here. Beneficiary's marital information. 17, how many times has the beneficiary been married? 1, just my mom. 18, current marital status. So whichever is applied here, I click married. Number 19, date of current marriage. If currently married, month, day, and year. Make sure you don't interchange. Place of beneficiary's current marriage, if married. So since my mom and dad are married, I put the city where they got married here in 20A. The state, in the Philippines, there's no state. 20C, province. Yes, I put province there. 20D, country, Philippines. Name of beneficiary spouses, if any. Provide information on the beneficiary's current spouse if currently married first, and then list all the beneficiary's prior spouses, if any. Since my dad is only married to my mom, I will put the name, complete name of my mom here. 21A. So this form is the application I-130 form of my dad. So I put the spouse 1, my mom's complete name. 21A, family name, last name. 21B, given name, first name. 21C, middle name. Here in the 22 date of marriage ended, I don't put anything here. It's because they are still married right now. However, if the beneficiary has previous spouses that is already been annulled or divorced, then you can write the rest here and use the additional information page on the part 9 if there is more for you to write. For example, here in spouse 2, you can write the prior spouse of the beneficiary. Write also here the date of marriage ended. Information about beneficiary's family, provide information about the beneficiary's spouse and children. Here, since I am the only daughter, it is way easier for me to finish this. It's because I don't have much names, the date of birth to write and country of birth. However, if has more two or more children, then you have to write also more information on this section. If you don't have enough page to write on, then again, you can use the Part 9 additional information page for you to provide this information. Here in person 2, I type here the complete name of my mom because it was asking here, provide information about the beneficiary's spouse, which is my mom. If you have more names to write, then go to page 9, additional information page for you to write more information about this section. Person 3, person 4, person 5, beneficiaries, entry information. 45. Was the beneficiary ever in the United States? If they are, click yes. If no, then no. Of course, my dad never been here in the US. I click no. If the beneficiary is currently in the United States, complete items number 46A to 46D. Here. 46A, he or she arrived as a class of admission. You better check on it, which category did they come over here. So 46B, Form I-94 Arrival Departure Record Number. You will get the I-94 upon entry here in the US, which will be given to you by the customs attached to your together with your passport before you exit the airport. So just go back on that form for you to put the details on this section. Date of arrival, make sure you don't interchange the day, the month, and the year. You also type it here. 46D, date authorized, stay, expired, or will expire, as shown on the Form I-194 or Form I-95, the month, the day, and year, or type or print DS for duration of status. Passport number of the beneficiary. 48, travel document number. Country of issuance for passport or travel document, Philippines. Expiration date, you also put the expiration date here. Beneficiary's employment information, provide the beneficiary's current employment information if applicable, even if they are employed outside of the United States. If the beneficiary is currently unemployed, type or print unemployed. So my dad is already retired, type unemployed here. If the beneficiary is working right now, you have to input and everything, all the information about the employer and the address of the company. Also, you need to input the country, 52 date employment begun, the month, the day, and the year. So make sure you don't interchange again the month and the day. Additional information about the beneficiary. Was the beneficiary ever in immigration proceedings? My dad never been, even once. So no. If yes, click yes. 54. If you answered yes, select the type of proceedings and provide the location and date of the proceedings. So whatever is applied, if you answered yes here about the beneficiary, then click whichever it is. So if the beneficiary was into proceedings before, then you have to complete this section. Part 4, information about beneficiary continued. If the beneficiary's native written language does not use Roman letters, type or print his or her name and foreign address in their native written language. If the beneficiary lives in a country that don't write Roman letters, or they write their name in a different way, not using Roman letters, then write it here on this section, the last name, the first name, the street name, so on and so forth. And then here in 58F country, you also type which country it is. In the Philippines, we write Roman letters just like the way we write here in the US. If filing for your spouse, provide the last address at which you physically live together. If you never live together, type or print never live together in item number 59A. But if ever you're filing for your spouse and never live together, then put here, type here in 59A, never live together. And if you do live together, then type it here on this section. If the beneficiary is in the U.S. and will apply for adjustment of status to that of a lawful permanent resident at the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Office so for example, the beneficiary is here in the U.S., then you have to type which city or town that the beneficiary will apply for adjustment status. At the same time, state. If the beneficiary will not apply for adjustment status in the United States, but he or she will apply for an immigrant visa abroad at the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate, since my mom and dad are not here in the U.S., I put here in 62A, Manila, 62B, province, 62C, country, Philippines. This is the place and the country that the beneficiary will apply for an immigrant visa abroad, which is, on my case, my dad and my mom is in the Philippines, so they're gonna apply in the U.S. Embassy, Manila, Philippines. Now, choosing a U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate outside the country of the beneficiary's last residence does not guarantee that it will accept the beneficiary's case for processing. In this situation, the designated U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate has discretion over whether or not to accept the beneficiary's case. Part 5. Other information. Number 1. Have you ever previously filed a petition for this beneficiary or any other alien? No, this is the first time that I apply for a petition of an immediate relative since I became a U.S. citizen. I click no. If you answered yes, provide the name, place, and date of filing and result. If ever you have applied a petition before on the beneficiary, provide the name, place, and date of filing here on the section. If you are also submitting separate petition for other relatives, provide the names of and your relationship to each relative. So here, this is so important, especially if you're applying for your mom and dad, because you will also write the other here. So since this application form is about my dad, I am also writing here the name of my mom on this section, because it says here, if you are also submitting separate petition for other relative aside from my dad, which is my mom, provide the name of and your relationship to each relative. Relative 1, so I'll put the name of my mom here, last name, first name, middle name, relationship, parent. Part 5, other information, continued. If ever you're not just petitioning your mom and dad, you're also petitioning your daughter or your spouse, then you type it here in relative 2, the complete details. You also put here relationship, you put spouse. Or if you petitioning aside for your mom and dad, your child, then you put relationship here, child. Warning, USCIS investigates the claim relationships and verifies the validity of documents you submit. If you falsify a family relationship to obtain a visa, USCIS may seek to have you criminally prosecuted. That's why it is so important, guys, that if you make a mistake in your application, you have to let the USCIS know or call the USCIS for you to correct that information, because it is it is not good if later on the USCIS will know that you mistakenly put wrong information in your application form. And as well as this will truly show that how the birth certificate is so important. Penalties by law: you may be imprisoned for up to 5 years or fined $250,000 or both for entering into a marriage contract in order to evade any U.S. immigration law. In addition, you may fine up to $10,000 and imprisoned for up to 5 years or both for knowingly and willfully falsifying or concealing a material fact or using any false document in submitting this petition. Part 6, Petitioner Statement, Contact Information, Declaration, and Signature. Read the penalty section on the Form I-130 instructions before completing this part. So where are you going to find the instructions? For you to find the instructions, go to USCIS.GOV, go to here in Forms, scroll down, All Forms, and look for the I-130. I-130 is here. Click that one, and then here as you scroll down, you will see the form and documents download. And here you will see the instructions for Form I-130. So you better read this before you proceed in the application form. So let's go back in the form. Petitioner Statement. Note: select the box for either item number 1A or 1B. If applicable, select the box for item number 2. 1A. I can read and understand English, and I have read and understand every question and instruction on this petition and may answer to every question. I click this 1A, guys. 1B. The interpreter name in Part 7. Read to me every question and instruction on this petition and my answer to every question. In here, in 1B, if you have an interpreter that helps you translate all the questions here on this I-130 form, then you have to click this one. But if you don't have interpreter, then you don't have to, of course. Number 2. At my request, the preparer named in Part 8 prepared this petition for me based only upon information I provided and authorized. Here, number 2, if somebody else helped you out or if somebody else did this I-130 for you in behalf of the petitioner, then you have to click number 2. If the petitioner itself did this form or answer all this form by herself or himself, then you don't need to, of course, you don't need to click number 2, but instead click 1A. Petitioner's contact information. Number 3, petitioner's daytime telephone number. I put my cell number here. Number 4, petitioner's mobile phone number, if any. I put also the same number like the number that I put in number 3. Number 5, petitioner's email address. Here in the petitioner's email address, I am still using the email address of my husband. I did not use my personal email address here. It's because I got used to it that I use my husband's email address every time there is a very important application or documentation that I need to do. It is because my email address, the email address that I'm using right now, is I really don't open much, guys. And I noticed that my husband is so particular in checking his email, and I was thinking that if there will be an email from USCIS, he will be able to see it and notice it. And at the same time, he has a notification on his phone if there's a new email coming through in his inbox. That's the reason why I put his email address here. Petitioner's declaration and certification. So in this section, I will not read through all this anymore to you. It is quite long. So for those who will be filing I-130, then you have to read this section here so that you also have an idea what is this section talking about. Now let's proceed to petitioner's signature. 6A, petitioner's signature signed in ink. If you will be filing this form online, of course, you will not be using blank ink pen anymore. All you have to do is type your complete name, Karen Jerry Shelton, and it's done. 6B, date of signature. Of course, the day that you have signed this application form, month and day, don't interchange. Note to all petitioners, if you do not completely fill out this petition, or fail to submit required documents listed in the instructions, USCIS may deny your petition. That's why if there is any corrections in your application form later on and you notice that there are some mistakes in the spelling, make it sure, guys, that you will call immediately USCIS or let them know for the mistake so that you will not have a problem later on. In case if there will be new documentation application that you're gonna do on that particular name. And remember that USCIS will have all this information in their system. It is not good if they're gonna see any discrepancy later on about your application form and the rest of the forms that you'll be submitting in the future. Part 7, Interpreter's Contact Information, Certification, and Signature. If you have an interpreter, of course, you have to fill out all this section. Interpreter's full name, interpreter's mailing address, interpreter's contact information, interpreter's certification, and here interpreter's signature. Part 8, Contact Information, Declaration, and Signature of the person preparing this petition, if other than the petitioner. Like I said a while ago, if somebody else is helping you, the petitioner, to fill out this form, then you have to put the name of that person here because he or she is called the preparer. Now in 182, it is about the preparer's family name, given name, business or organization name. Below is the preparer's mail address. Part 8, Contact Information, Declaration, and Signature of the person preparing this petition, if other than the petitioner, continued. Preparer's contact number. Of course, the email address will also be typed here. Preparer's statement. Preparer's signature will be written here, and the date of signature. Part 9, Additional Information. So this is actually the last page of the I-130 application form. So if you have any information that is not written on the above pages or above part on this section because there is no more enough space, then you can use this part 9 extra sheet for you to fill out the rest of the information. I-130 application form has a total of 12 pages. But I'm gonna show you right now why my application form PDF file in USCIS is 13 pages. So this is the copy of my part 9. I have used extra sheet, guys. It is because I have to write 4 addresses in my address for the last 5 years because there's no space anymore on that particular page where you're gonna write all the addresses. So I have given the list summary of the evidences that I submitted for the I-130 of my mom and my dad. All of these 4 documents that are from the Philippines are all PSA. The birth certificate of my dad, page 1, the birth certificate of my dad, page 2, marriage contract of my mom and dad, my birth certificate, Philippine birth certificate, my naturalization certificate here in the US, and the marriage license of me and James. All I submitted for my I-130 application for my dad, the same as for my mom. After you're done doing your online application, then all the answers that you did there will automatically be transferred on this form. That is why after you file online, you will have a copy of this I-130 form or N400 on this kind of format. So that's it, guys. I hope this video helps, especially for those who will be petitioning their mom and dad, their spouse, or children in the future. So stay tuned as well if you will be filing soon your US naturalization here in the US, because I will be uploading N400 tutorial. Yes, God bless everyone. Take care and see you on the next video. For those who are not yet subscribed, please subscribe, guys, and click the bell button so that every time I upload a new video, you will get notified. Bye!